Hello and welcome everybody to the first edition of the Fusion News Network. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jack Pavan. I'm an 11th grader here at Fusion Global Academy from Michigan, and I've been here for 4 years. I'm so glad and excited for our first edition of the Fusion News Network, as we've got the whole Fusion Scholarship team in attendance. Now, I want to present to you my response for the Fusion Limitless Scholarship prompt number 3 of innovation. Welcome to the next generation of life and fusion, the Fusion Universe app. Now, allow me to introduce the overall vision and ideas I have for the Fusion Universe. This app that I've created will be a central repository for all Fusion students to have as much or as little as they want in terms of the Fusion experience, while streamlining communication, academic, and other social community aspects. I believe this app will create an opportunity for my age group to more effectively connect at Fusion in all ways. The Limitless Scholarship presented an opportunity for me to present real, tangible ideas, inspiring more connection and ease of use throughout Fusion. Thank you for this moment and in advance for your consideration. The academics at Fusion are already so great, and I've enjoyed them so much. Now it's time to enhance that and build the social aspect within the Fusion universe like never before. Allow me to introduce some of the features of the Fusion universe. Remember, the Fusion universe is going to be the one-stop location for students to do all things Fusion, academically and socially. Academically, some of the features will include a revamped student dashboard with links to Canvas, Microsoft Office, Savvis, and more. A personalized dashboard with customization options that are not offered today to increase academic engagement. Think backgrounds, themes, and personal avatars. Custom reminders and a full calendar for students to be able to be reminded of global events and other assignments that they have to complete. A custom learning profile, which students can fill out to allow teachers to understand how they learn better, bettering the Fusion staff. A digital notebook for students to take notes from their teachers on, all integrated within the app. A chat system on the dashboard for students to be able to connect with their teachers, and their teachers to be able to set their own statuses on whether they're away, busy, or have open office hours for the student to connect. And most importantly, a points-based system encouraging on-time participation for classes, homework, and even extending to social and Fusion events. We want to award students for learning the importance of being mindful of time management and their own deadlines. We just talked about the academic features of the Fusion universe. Now, allow me to introduce you some of the social, emotional, and community elements that the Fusion universe will encompass. The aforementioned personal avatars is something that I think is going to be very important for the app. It allows students to express their identity, interests, and personalization in the Fusion experience. Think Apple's Memoji or many different social media platforms' ways of creating avatars. It's how my generation connects and feels unique, to put it simply. Another very important part that the Fusion universe will have is the Fusion Friend Finder. The Fusion Friend Finder is a social profile that students can create that will allow them to connect with other students with like-minded interests all across the world. It'll allow students to join together and create friendships like never before. Next is the Fusion News Network. Obviously, I'm your host for today on the Fusion News Network, but all in all, the Fusion News Network will be a place where it will highlight student and Fusion teacher and mentor talents, share personal and Fusion news, and all be done in a safe and private network. We also are going to introduce the FusionGram and Fusion Fanzine, the FusionGram being an internal social media platform in a safe, private, and easy to access Fusion location. The Fusion Fanzine will be your all-encompassing Fusion student-created newspaper. Students will be able to run the newspaper, and it'll be a very important part of the Fusion universe. So what really is the impact that the Fusion universe will have on everyone at Fusion? Well, it goes beyond just Fusion, because when students and peers can connect in a broader way, it enhances the academics and desire to be at Fusion, providing confidence and support in years to come. The Fusion universe will be very important to students who are on the go with work, travel, and life happenings. The bottom line basically is that the more engaged students are academically and socially, the more likely they are to participate more authentically and feel seen and heard. This is a major win for the students and a huge win for Fusion's retention and marketing. Now, how epic is that? And what is my goal? Well, my goal is to provide a simple, streamlined, unique, and user-friendly app for everyone at Fusion. And how will I measure this goal? Well, success will be measured in the number of students opting in for utilizing the academic and social features. Fusion would have access to all metrics and see the number of students and participants by Curie. Keeping students engaged is, of course, essential to Fusion. This will be measured by the level of participation after these tools launch versus participation today. I believe the numbers will speak for themselves. If a student feels holistically involved at school, the retention of that student will be more significant for Fusion than a student who is only engaged academically. This metric will be measured by re-enrollment and a survey at the end of each year, including questions about the usability and fondness of the Fusion Universe app. So how will the Fusion Universe app be created? Well, that's where agile planning and development comes in. This is a strategy that necessitates fast development and teamwork and is used by many successful companies worldwide today. For app creation, there should be several key resources and people. These are a project manager, who manages the timeline, people working on the app, and fixes stalls in development. A creative designer, who can envision general designs, color schemes, and all things creative and graphic. This person works closely with the development team to ensure that visible items on the app are as aesthetically pleasing as in the technics. And then programmers. These programmers include user interface and user experience designers, as well as programmers who can code and work with the back end of the app and code its actual structure. A timeline is a vital creation of the app, and it could look something like this. A roadmap and early planning stage. This would be a meeting of everyone that outlines the details of the wish list I've proposed and is broken down into creating a scope that utilizes manageable chunk work into 2-week cycles so the goals are attainable and actionable. The beginnings of the app are implementing our ideas, and this should be done with this roadmap to outline all of our ideas and goals. Also, storyboarding and sketching out ideas for designs and functionality are essential. After this, a beginning roadmap is created, and now we can move to implementing Figma. Figma is a user interface design tool that can be used to collaborate and build the app. Many corporations use Figma to prototype and lay the foundations of implementation and design within our app. After the prototyping is complete and the design is finalized, the app will be coded, and the user experience and user interface designers should be able to have their designs finalized for implementation, and the app will launch. That's all well and good, but of course there are some possible pitfalls that we can envision and that we have to work through while creating the Fusion universe. Some of these are things like creep, which can be solved by creating timeline action items along the development way, which are limited to 2-week periods of time so that the team isn't too far into a program when new issues or ideas, quote unquote, creep into the plan. Also, lack of communication can be a killer. The team's communication is critical. If communication isn't working, the team could get off track and/or someone could be going down the wrong path. Pre-planned communication and frequent status meetings are imperative. Bugs and the budget are also important too. With bugs, programmers need to be ready to address any possible issues that the app might have. And with the budget, we need to be able to roll this out in phases to be both in line with a realistic launch timeframe and budget. All items I'm proposing can be worked on independently of the app, so that the Fusion News Network items and all enhancements outside the app and dashboard are ready to phase in. It's also important to mention that students could be involved in the development of the app. It would not only save costs for Fusion, but be a resume builder for students who might be interested in fields like user interface and design. This would educate students with hands-on experience who are interested, again, in such fields. And even utilizing AI and ChatGPT once the main Figma app is developed would be beneficial so that students can learn the benefits of learning alongside AI. Now, what an empowering resume builder for the student and a great way to save money for Fusion. Again, how epic is that? At this point in the program, I think it's very important to go over the core of Fusion, its epic values. And I'd be happy to answer some of the questions that you gave me in this challenge and those epic questions themselves. Let's talk about some of those epic values. The core of Fusion: excellence, passion, innovation, and courage. All four embody the Fusion universe. For excellence, the Fusion Universe app allows students to excel academically and socially, providing a first-class experience for all participants. These metrics, again, can be quantitatively measured by user interaction, increased social interaction, ease of use, and annual retention. Fusion would be viewed as the leader and trailblazer in education, both in person and virtually. For passion, the user interface design of the app and the social interaction features will excite and engage students in a fun and energetic way. This provides a unique opportunity to foster our belief of changing education. Fusion ignites evolution of education, where student passions and creativity will be on display all the time. For innovation, this app would revolutionize the student body experience by giving students an ideal tool to connect in a new and exciting way for academics and those social opportunities. How innovative would Fusion be if they have their own app and news network of connectivity in a highly modern and engaging way? Now, most importantly, for courage. This app embraces the diversity of the student body, their needs, and empowers students to share their unique identity, passions, personal characteristics, and everything else in a fun and inclusive environment, with everyone creating avatars and utilizing new peer-focused features such as FusionGram, Fusion Fanzine, and all things Fusion News Network. Fusion encourages people to show up authentically and to feel empowered and share uniquely. This deeply innovative tool will bridge a level of comfort between the students and teacher mentors through sharing who they are as they create their unique profiles, interests, and spaces for learning. This app is a great opportunity to implement my vision and ideas for growing social connection and creating new shared interests and friendships across the globe. This would elevate my existence at Fusion because I wouldn't just feel academically inspired and fulfilled, but also socially and emotionally using this tool to connect with my community. I've touched on this, but I think it's very important to talk about one of the most important social aspects more in depth, that being the Fusion News Network and all of its parts. We have a Fusion Global Neighborhood, but now we need to add something more, a full Fusion News Network to engage students on a more personal level, curated and led by the students themselves. This will be a multifaceted, multi-purpose network enabling new connections and opportunities to feel fully enveloped in the Fusion family at school. For the FusionGram, it will be a private internal Fusion education group platform for students, teacher mentors, and admins only, and they'll be able to post personal pictures, updates, celebrations, and happenings only to people at Fusion. It creates an opportunity for interaction between anyone at Fusion that wishes to participate, while creating a safe space that isn't on the public web. Posts would include positive quotes relating to the time of the year, holidays, or current events. For example, Fusion friends can show support by following, commenting, adding their own updates, and offering encouragement to each other. And auto notifications can be enabled, letting the user know when a new post has been made, making them never miss a beat. Now let's have a look at the Fusion Fanzine, the simple, student-led and curated monthly newsletter of all things Fusion news, including upcoming events, clubs, student spotlights, interviews with student athletes, performers, and all student alumni, teacher mentors, and so much more. We'll be able to incorporate the Fusion Fuse writers and highlight student art, book reviews, recipes, and photography in one location. Students and teacher mentors can opt in simply to access the newsletter, participate, and/or be a source for reporting, sharing photography from Fusion events, meetups, and clubs. And last but not least, the Fusion Frequency. You'll be able to tune into student-led channels by interest: sports, fashion, rise, foodie, tech, and photography, just to name a few. And how would this look? For example, the sports channel would be led by me reporting and running sports highlights for the week. This channel would highlight national and international sports, but also would share Fusion student, teacher, and mentor athletes in interviews, should they opt in to participate. This would give the community an opportunity to learn more about students at Fusion and their lives outside of the Fusion hallway. These channels would give students the responsibility to refine their camera and public speaking skills, boost their comfort levels by researching, writing, and reporting news, and enhance their time management abilities while sharing meaningful reporting in a way that resonates with our age group. Although I have answered all of the required questions and prompts within this scholarship application, I will refer you to the slide deck that I prepared with much more detail than I've shared live today. This deck provides granular details for each prompt, and I would ask that you review the deck in addition to watching this video. I do want to highlight 2 important points about research and supporting evidence though. 85% of teens and 97% of boys are on video games daily. Consequently, they're online. It's much more natural to my age group to use an app rather than any sort of other medium, and this is why the Fusion Universe will work. As evidenced by this research, by using the Fusion Universe app, we're not just connecting the students academically, we're building a stronger, more united community. And now welcome everyone to one of my favorite parts of the Fusion News Network show, where we answer callers from all around Fusion Global Academy and the different campuses. Now it looks like we've got a caller calling in from the Fusion Tysons campus. Here you are, caller. What do you got to say?
Hi Jack, I am Nigel Friday calling in from the Fusion Tysons campus. I love this new app idea and all the ways that I could connect with teachers and other students. My question is, could you expand a little bit on the points system? I heard you say something about getting rewarded for turning in homework on time and showing up to classes on time. Additionally, what could I use my points for? Thanks.
Well, thank you very much, Nigel, for being our first caller into the Fusion News Network and for your question. It's so exciting. Now, I wanted to add a points-based reward system, something like a loyalty program, because it will award points with a behind-the-scenes algorithm written for attending classes on time, when homework or assignments are submitted on or before the due date, and it awards students for participating in Fusion events such as Winterfest, Spring Art Celebration, clubs, participation in the Fusion Fanzine newsletter, Fusion Frequency channels, and on the Fusiongram, just to name a few. At the end of every month, the points are used to purchase new and exclusive avatar items, things that the students don't have but could unlock, and for Fusion swag from the Fusion store. I also envision a quarterly drawing for those who reach a certain threshold of points for a gift card. I believe by incentivizing students, this will create excellent habits towards time management and understanding the need to be punctual. And now it looks like we have another caller. What's your question, Fusion friend?
Hey Jack, I love the Fusion News Network idea. This sounds super cool and something I would like to participate in. My name is Sally from FGA in Nebraska. I am wondering if you could elaborate on the red light, green light system you mentioned. How would that help me chat with friends and teachers? Also, could you tell me more about the Fusion Friend Finder? The idea sounds great, and I would love to learn more.
Well, thank you for calling in, Sally. I really appreciate your question. Let me explain it to you in more detail. The red light, green light system will be visible on the dashboard where all icons and links to everything will be. Think about your virtual dashboard today, but with increased links. Your teachers and friends who have opted into the program will be visible on your dashboard, and a circle will show you a red light if they are busy, a green light if they are available to connect, and a gray light if they are offline, next to their name. Teachers would share potential times a day that they would be online to quote-unquote chat in the new chat function and answer quick assignment or lesson questions that do not require homework support in the homework cafe. This eliminates the dated practice of checking email and missing an important message or update. This applies to friends as well. The system will also show you who is in the homework cafe so you can connect with like-minded peers and not guess which friends may or may not be available. Now, regarding the Fusion Friend Finder, it's going to be a questionnaire that will be linked to any student who wants to opt into it. It will include questions such as your time zone, your geographical location, and your specific interests in different things, like sports, music, and cooking, amongst others. Fusion will program in an algorithm behind the scenes of the app, and it'll be able to connect students with those same like-minded interests so that they're matched to connect. As the student participating, you'll be able to receive updates when friends match with your profile. This now creates, in my opinion, a much more authentic opportunity to understand who is out there to interact with and get to know as a Fusion School friend. I personally really miss the link with understanding who is at our school and how to better connect. The same thing with many other students today. Many students don't participate, or maybe have in the past, but dropped off because it's generally the same handful of students that attend all events. This now creates an opportunity for real friendships because you're starting off with similar interests and desires to interact inside and outside the school day. Oh, would you look at that? I think we've actually got a teacher on the line for our last call of the day. Go ahead.
Hi, Jack. I'm Teresa from Washington, and my question as a teacher is, how does this learning profile that you're talking about help me help my students? Love this. Thanks for all you're doing.
Well, thank you, Teresa. And in fact, that's a very good question because the academic learning profile is one of the most important parts of the Fusion universe. What it will be able to do is tap into the core of Fusion, which is not only its epic values, but its personalized one-to-one learning. The academic profile will allow students to tell teachers, essentially, what their learning style is and help bridge any potential gaps. For example, a student might be able to say whether they're a visual or textbook learner, or whether they like tests or more prefer something like project-based learning. It'll allow teachers and students to integrate seamlessly and allow the classroom to evolve. In conclusion, the Fusion Universe app is the prime opportunity for creating a one-stop location that will build, boost, and bring the Fusion community closer than ever before. In the wise words of the late, great Limitless Fusion visionary Pete Rupert, he said, "Believe in yourself. Too often, we are afraid to take the leap or go for our dreams." Since day one, I've aspired and dreamt to create an interface which will allow everyone at Fusion to interact easier and thrive at school more efficiently. This app is the culmination of all of those ideas and is the future of Fusion education. So now, I've given you an epic response to the Limitless Scholarship Challenge by creating an app. How will you respond? The future of Fusion is literally in your hands. Thank you so much for your time and your consideration. I can't tell you how much heart and soul went into this project, and I truly hope you can join me in creating the Fusion universe.